If January taught us one thing, is that Nintendo fans are practically frothing at the mouth for the next gen hardware. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Akadrian and I post Nintendo videos every single Monday, so if that's your thing, please consider subscribing, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. January had a lot, and I mean a lot, of Switch 2 news, so let's just start off right away with that. First off, we had the game industry analyst Dr. Sirkin Toto come out and say that he believed, one, the Switch 2 would start off at $400, and two, the Switch 2 will be an increment over the Switch instead of a revolution over the Switch. First off, let's talk about that price. Honestly, I think that seems pretty much fair and within my expectations. Unfortunately, that's $400 US, so that'll be much more for me, but that's alright. In terms of just as an increment upgrade, I think that's kind of what everybody wanted. I don't think anyone's really going to be upset with that. Also, at an industry event, a company by the name of GameShark, that apparently used to be a thing back in the day, before my time, came out and said that they are going to release something new to coincide with the Switch 2 release in September. Now, I don't believe that GameShark would actually have the information for that, but I do think it's a very safe assumption. I actually did a whole video about when I think the Switch 2 is going to release, so make sure to check that out after. Also, at GDC, 8% of game developers at the event were saying that they were working on a game that was for the Nintendo Switch 2. But I think the important part to note is 8% of them were honest. Most companies, if not all, should be under some NDAs, so they shouldn't be talking about it, period. So who knows, there might be actually more companies that just didn't say yes on the survey. Also this month, that kind of went under the radar, is Nintendo posted some job postings. What are these job postings for? It's actually to explore the possibility of multimedia streaming platforms to come, and it didn't say this part specifically, but to next gen hardware, because we know it's not coming to Switch. Which I found that very interesting as well, because I did cover that in another video that I can also tag up there, that I went over and I covered some software features I expected the Nintendo Switch 2 to have, and streaming platforms was one of them based off a patent that was released. So last but not least, on the Switch 2 rumor speculation fiasco, I guess you could say, is that Bloomberg came out with an article kind of stating that apparently the Switch 2 is supposed to come with an 8-inch screen. But not only an 8-inch screen, an 8-inch LCD, which made some people kind of mad because obviously for the people that own a OLED, they much rather still have an OLED. But personally, I don't really play in handheld mode, so I don't care either way. But I don't think it's a terrible idea that they are going to be going to a LCD screen. What I imagine is happening is probably that they want to make this next system more powerful, obviously. They might just need a little extra square inches to work with. That's not a square. There you go. To make the Switch itself be more powerful. So I think that's kind of why. But if it's going to be more powerful, it's going to be more expensive. And the OLED screens are more expensive than the LCD. So I personally really rather, honestly, have an LCD screen at least at launch. But let me know in the comments what you think about that. Moving on to game releases. This was a pretty short month for game releases. There was only Another Code Recollection that released, alongside 2 more games that came to the NSO expansion pass. So this time around it was Golden Sun and Golden Sun The Lost Ages. So if you do have the NSO expansion pass, you can go enjoy that for free. I don't, so I guess I won't enjoy them. Over the month, we've also received new rumors pop up. 4 come to mind. First, there was a kind of a little bit of a fiasco in the Xbox community, which I know this is a Nintendo channel, but hear me out. They were upset because Xbox wants to start posting some of their first-party games on other platforms, meaning the Switch or just Nintendo in general. And one of the first games that started this big fiasco was the announcement that Hi-Fi Rush was probably going to be coming to other platforms as well. Now, although it hasn't been formally confirmed that Hi-Fi Rush is coming to Switch, the game has been rated in Australia, kind of confirming that it will be coming to Switch, or potentially Switch 2, depending on when the game is announced. Another new rumor that popped up is that a new Smash Bros. Game is probably on the way, and here's why they think it's coming. So Sakurai, the director of the game, has a YouTube channel that he frequently posts to, and recently he stated in a YouTube video that his YouTube channel will be coming to an end and that he's going back to work on games. So the safe assumption is Smash Bros, and it would also make sense, so time will tell, I guess, to see what he's actually going to be working on. Also, Nintendo is finding more partners to work on some of their IP. So, not revolutionary news, honestly, you know, Nintendo making games. Shocker, I know. But I think what people don't understand or don't realize is what this means. They're not going to be using their top studios to work on smaller IPs or more obscure IPs. But if they're willing, which from what it sounds like, is to take these smaller, maybe more obscure IPs, handing them off to other companies so they can work on the games. So I'm very interested to see what games we might see in the future that maybe we're not expecting. Another rumor that popped up is Necrofilipe, which is a leaker, but not very reputable. He kind of has a mixed track record, so take this with a grain of salt and believe at your own risk. He says that the next Donkey Kong game will not be a Donkey Kong Country game. I think a 3D Donkey Kong game could be really cool and special, and especially considering with the success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Donkey Kong did play a big role in there as well, so I can see that they're really trying to boost up the IP, you know, to be bigger. I mean, back in the day, the game Donkey Kong in the arcades, that was a really popular game, and that's where Mario originated, if I'm not mistaken. So it's how do you tie the success of the Mario movie and the popularization of Donkey Kong, but also tying that to the Donkey Kong expansion that's happening to the Tokyo Universal, I believe. So you can really see they're trying to start cooking with Donkey Kong. Can't wait to see what's in the oven over at Nintendo for Donkey Kong. Never mind, I lied. One more rumor that I totally forgot to mention. It's rumored that Metroid Prime 4 may be nearing completion according to some leaks, which totally would not surprise me. The game's been rebooted 5 years ago. So I mean, like, duh. So hopefully this year we finally get to see Metroid Prime 4 in a Nintendo Direct. Side note, imagine how dirty it would be if they would just kind of Twitter drop that. They won't. I know they won't, so it's fine, but just imagine. And so that brings us to the next segment of just general Nintendo news that happened. First off, people have noticed that Nintendo has stopped printing a select amount of games. These games include Paper Mario: The Origami King, Donkey Kong Country: Tropical Freeze, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Metroid Dread, Kirby Star Allies, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Fire Emblem Engage, which, I mean, it literally released last year. Why are they doing that? Yoshi's Crafted World, WarioWare Get It Together, Nintendo Switch Sports, Super Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, which that one would make sense because there's Splatoon 3, Super Mario Maker 2, and Mario Strikers Battle League. As a physical collector, there's a couple of games I don't have here, so I'm personally going to probably go out and try to find them sooner rather than later, but this is more of a warning to you that if you are looking for these games physical, pick them up now. Also, Princess Peach Showtime received a new Twitter trailer where they announced a new ninja mode and cowboy mode. So unfortunately, I think that's probably all there is to it. I think that's all the costumes. I kind of don't like it when games show every single variant in the trailers. I really hope they have at least one or two extra modes that they didn't show off. I think that would be really cool. But the thing that was interesting about this is they are now releasing a set of pastel pink Joy-Cons, to which they ate with these. Let's get that clear. But the question everybody's asking is, why are they limited? Not only are they limited time, but they're also limited within the stores they're going to release. So like anything else that relates to Nintendo news, people started wondering, what does this mean for Switch 2? So potentially what people are speculating is that they don't want to overpopulate the stores with a bunch of Joy-Cons if a new console is coming out, because they have to start thinking about shelving space to make sure that they can get the new stuff on the shelves and not be overcluttered with the old. Also, with an 8-inch screen that we talked about earlier, that would make the old Joy-Cons potentially not compatible with the new Switch, which is kind of unfortunate, but I don't know, time will tell, but yeah. So moving on from the pink Joy-Cons, let's talk about another pink thing, Kirby. apparently HAL Laboratories is now hiring for a new game, so expect a new game in the Kirby franchise. Not a shocker, but who knows when we'll see it. I'm really hoping they make Kirby and the Forgotten Land 2 or something similar to that. That one was a really fun one. And it is also the end of an era, unfortunately, for a sad Nintendo console. And another one. So, as we already knew in the past, Nintendo was looking into shutting down the Wii U and 3DS online servers, and that looks like it's going to be happening this year on April 8th. So, if you want to take a few final moments to play a few games online, now would be the time to do so before it's too late. Also, F-Zero99 has had a big update. Some of the new additions include private lobbies that you can play with friends, so you don't have to kind of just go up to luck, I guess you could say. I know some people in the beginning would kind of try to time when they would enter a match, and sometimes it would actually work. They could play with friends, but this is going to be a whole lot easier. Secret tracks have also been added. Also, the maximum level and skill rating for a player have increased. The maximum level has increased to 99 and 399, and the maximum skill rating has increased from S20 to S50. And for levels 100 and above, instead of having a 1 or a 2 in the 100 position, you're just going to get a star. So star 00, for example, means 100. So if you have 2 stars, then 00, that's level 200. And they added one badge that can be used to customize the pilot cards. And for the final segment, let's look at some wholesome news. The new voice actor for Super Mario, Kevin Afghani if you didn't know, has said that he's lived a lifetime worth of dreams in the past year. So, I don't know, I just find that really nice. I really like him actually. I think he does Mario very good. And actually, I think he does Wario's voice better than Charles Martinet. So, good job, Kevin. And I don't know, I know this is wholesome news, and the first part's not wholesome, but at the beginning of the month, Japan has been struck by multiple disasters, but mainly a huge earthquake. So Nintendo will be donating 50 million yen for the earthquake relief. So very good on Nintendo's part to do their part on their home turf. And with that being said, that wraps up all the January news. And a little hint for February, that's typically when there's a Nintendo Direct. So let me know down in the comments what you think we're going to see at the Nintendo Direct. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And until next time, Waddell.